little girl, 4 or 5, dressed up as a fairy princess, came up to my table in a hill step store. Just climbed up and sat down and started talking. By and far, the wonder of children being able to come out here and seeing knights and kings and living vicariously through kids. That's awesome.
Bienvenue. Welcome to Coffee Talk with King Francois Premier, where we will discover the tales, trials, and talents of Renaissance Festival performers, merchants, and die-hard attendees as we journey by way of light-hearted and even at times heartwarming conversations about the Renaissance Festival world. I am your host, Theodore Jander, aka King Francois Premier. Bonjour. Welcome to Coffee Talk with King Francois Premier. I am your host, Theodore Jander. As always, it is my pleasure to bring to all returning and new listeners episode 6, which comes from the Facebook Live series I recorded at the St. Louis Renaissance Festival this fall. My guests for this episode are Ben Bass and Bill Pryor from the Sturgeon Workshoppe, artisans specializing in the craft of leatherwork, chainmaille, and other handmade items. They have received glowing reviews like, amazing people, amazing art. These folks are wonderful. They take custom orders and work wonders with leather, wood, and chainmaille. Absolutely gorgeous leatherwork and chainmaille items, plus expert repairs and custom orders. Items are very reasonably priced for the high level of craftsmanship, and there's a price range for every budget. I have many beautiful and unique items from the folks, and I can't recommend them highly enough. I found out firsthand through our conversation just how truly delightful the artisans and their work are at the Sturgeon Workshoppe. So, enjoy this coffee talk with King Francois Premier and guests Ben Bass and Bill Pryor from the Sturgeon Workshoppe. And so our guest today is Ben Bass and Bill Pryor from the Sturgeon Workshoppe. And I'm going to do is flip this around and officially welcome them to the chat. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. It's up to your viewers to figure out who is who.
Right. So, as you see on your left, so this, as
Your
Bill,
left, not my left.
I mean, sorry, that's Ben.
That's Ben.
That's Bill. There we go. All right.
We've already confused him.
Yes.
And also want to,
Include the coffee.
here's our coffee talk. So make sure that we get that plug in there. Because God only knows we desperately need coffee early in the morning. So the first question that I have for you is in 2 sentences. It's not so much a question. Describe what it is that you do as a merchant for the Renaissance Festival world.
So for us, the Sturgeon Workshop, we are a working leather shop, and we have custom items, and then we also do a lot of repairs for the cast and members across the fair.
As a working leather booth.
Yes.
Nice.
We also do chainmail and some other things here and there.
Okay, perfect. All right, thank you. And how long have you been selling at Renaissance festivals?
I want to say 2006. And we started back when Pirate Fest was out here in the fall. We started out there. And then we've been here ever since. So 2006, 2007.
Okay, so around 16
Yeah, 15
years,
years, 16
something like
years.
that. Nice. And how did you get started in getting into the leathers, the chainmail?
Well, actually, it was my wife and I came out to this fair. It was either the second or the third year that it was open.
Okay.
When we left, she said, "I would be great to come back next year in costume," but she's not the type to be the heavy brocades of royalty or a bar when she wanted armor. So That was the first piece of leather work that we did, was the breastplate up there. And then it just kind of snowballed from that. Bill came in 2014.
I started working with them, and it was originally chainmail just for me.
Yeah, and then he started doing the leather work as well. And then we brought Nate in as well. So we're slowly growing.
Right, so I myself have experienced numerous and memorable encounters with merchants, with patrons, with cast performers, etc. So what is a favorite memory that you have that our viewers and myself would like?
One of the things we used to do is we would have all our 3D stamps out, and we would actually teach kids of all ages how to stamp leather, and they could make their own wristbands.
Okay.
I was working on a project, and a family came in, and a little girl, 4 or 5, dressed up as a fairy princess, came up to my table in a hill step stool. I just climbed up and sat down and started talking. And so we were holding this conversation that every sentence started with, you know, you want to know something? Okay. And she would tell me something. It's like, that's great. And her mother finally saw her and said, did you ask permission to sit there? I said, ma'am, a fairy princess is always welcome at my table. So the little girl just lit up, and we kept our conversation going. You know what? Oh, I have a dog named Molly. That's really cool. You know what? Why? Sometimes I really don't like my brother. It ended up, you know what? What? And she leaned forward. She goes, I'm allergic to strawberries. It was like, I'm so sorry. Strawberries are so tasty. But I just remember her and that conversation that we had. That was so much fun. So.
And it would seem that is something that in a lot of ways you really, I'm not saying that you could only experience that at a Renaissance festival, but it's those kinds of, that uninhibited children, especially just coming up and going, starting conversations.
By and far, the wonder of children being able to come out here and seeing knights and kings and all of that. So living vicariously through kids, that's awesome. So.
Nice. All right, so how did you fall? Well, you actually described this a little bit already as far as how you fell in love with Renaissance festivals. You described coming out to this particular Renaissance festival, which happens to be the St. Louis Renaissance Festival, and just wanting to come back in garb, and then the rest is history. It's kind of coming back with a passion for using the creative arts to do so.
Oh yeah, very much so.
Nice. So, I am curious, as this is a Renaissance festival, who would win in a joust? Either one of you, or each of you can answer this separately, or the royal jester, and why?
Oh, for me, it would be the jester, hands down. He has a lot of anger built up. He has some frustration that's been just binding him for years, so yeah, I'd have no chance now. I don't know about
I'm taking it. I've been 27 years in the Army, so
he's run 30 Tough Mudders. You know, he's got the stamina.
Yeah. Nice.
I couldn't do that. So
fantastic. Great. Well, and I think you're actually probably the first to give it to the jester, so of those that I've asked. But you know, and that's okay, because I'm sure there are others.
As long as I can get a backer to put money down on the jester, and we'll split the proceeds later. I'll take it. Right. I don't know, what would that be in French? Le dive.
You're right. All right. So for people considering being, oh look, there's the mouse again. Oh no, it tripped.
I think it's one of the babies from last weekend.
Goodness.
He's so cute.
All right. So not fast enough to move the camera to look at the mouse, but anyway. So for people considering being a vendor, even actors, or attending the fair, what is the best piece of advice that you can offer?
Are you insane? For me, the main piece of advice is do something that you're passionate about. Do something that you love.
Okay.
This is hard enough to do something that you're just kind of meh about. So be passionate.
Don't be afraid to go against the status quo. You don't have to be like everyone else to be out here. Actually embrace the weird, and you'll actually find that people come to you a lot more, I think.
I think kind of tweaking on that a little bit is if you want to be a vendor out here, do something that's unique.
Yeah.
And so that and just enjoy yourself. Yeah.
Right.
You're going to meet so many people out here.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Great advice on both fronts, so thank you for that. So as we bring this morning's Coffee Talk with King Francois Premier to a close, at which festivals can you be found, and if applicable, where on the internet can folks find you?
Okay, so you can always find us here at the St. Louis Renaissance Fair. Our next show will be Canuga in Chattanooga, Tennessee in February. And then it will be...
this is our only Renaissance Fair that we do. We do conventions throughout the rest of the year.
Okay.
Basically, our website, the SturgeonWorkshoppe.com, has a calendar on it.
Perfect.
And you can also find us on Facebook at the Sturgeon Workshoppe.
Even better.
Very good. Well, thank you so very much, Ben and Bill, for taking a few minutes out of the busy early mornings before opening to chat. And I do want to say, may your day be filled with Renaissance Festival merriment and blessings to you in all of your craft.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
And the same to you.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed this episode with my guests, Ben Bass and Bill Pryor. To find out more about the Sturgeon Workshop, check out their links provided in the show notes. Stay tuned for next week's episode, to be released on Friday, December 16th, where I have a conversation with Karen Schwartz and Justin Melendez from Talenshi, artisans who create beautiful, useful objects to bring a little magic to everyday life. If you are a performer, merchant, or diehard patron in or of the Renaissance Festival world and would like to be featured on Coffee Talk with King Francois Premier, reach out to me by way of clicking on the following link provided in the show notes: www.theodorejander.com/Coffee Talk Podcast. Would you like to receive early access every week to each new episode, as well as receive a behind-the-scenes glimpse into the production and creative process for this podcast? If so, join the wonderful community of listeners supporting the show and making new things possible through Patreon. Learn more at www.patreon.com/Coffee Talk with King Francois, and that link will be provided in the show notes. Thank you so much for tuning in to Coffee Talk with King Francois Premier. A bientôt, see you soon, ciao for now, and au revoir.